Today we are looking at Overly Sarcastic Productions and their take on Eros and Psyche. Now, I'll admit, this is the first time I don't feel like that much of a noob. Eros, pretty much Cupid, right? Chubby little cherub, shoots arrows, makes people fall in love. And Psyche, well, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, which I've used for things like... Okay, well, it's a really expensive piece of paper. Anyway... Welcome back, friends, and a special welcome to all the new friends out there. I'm YoBGS, and I don't know, Overly Sarcastic Productions on a Saturday has become like my new version of Saturday morning cartoons, right? It's just always fun to hop on and check out all sorts of stuff about cool lore that, admittedly, I didn't know about. By the way, there is a weird glitch that's been going on with my channel right now. It's unsubscribing people, and a lot of people who watch these videos are not subscribed anyway, so if you want to do me a huge favor, subscribe. I appreciate it more than you know, and it's the easiest way to get these videos out to more people. Let's get right into it.
This is a true story. Last year, spring quarter, for my third quarter of Greek thought and literature, I took a course on love. My teacher was an absolutely gorgeous man with a beautiful accent and the most—
Oh my god, so her teacher was basically one of the new professors from Pokemon Crimson, right?
piercing of eyes. And one of the things he taught us was that, for the Greeks, love had many different meanings.
Okay, so the course was actually about love. This wasn't just like she was in love and the course happened to be about like math or something. Agape, pure, unconditional love and affection, not to be confused with philia?
There was agape, the unconditional love of one's fellow humans. Philia, platonic love of one's friends. Storge, love of family.
Storge. So which one of these is the friend zone? She's going a million miles a minute now. That's how you can tell it's an older video.
And Eros. Now, of these four, Eros is definitely the most well-known. It's the deep, passionate love one feels for a romantic and/or sexual partner. And, not so coincidentally, it's also the name of the Greek god of love. Eros, as far as gods go, has been through many, many incarnations.
By the way, no coincidence I'm going back there because we don't need to see that. Eros carrying arrows.
As far as gods go, has been through many, many incarnations. There's the aspect of Eros that's an ancient primordial deity older than the gods themselves, and in that incarnation, Eros is characterized as a being even more powerful than Zeus, in part because he can jerk the guy around like a puppet. See Every Myth where Zeus couldn't keep it in his pants, also known as Every Myth.
God, she goes in hard on Zeus. And understandably so. Zeus's lore, as we've learned it, is not the greatest, but my god, to be so actively smashing the god of gods.
There's the aspect of Eros that's the child of Aphrodite, representing love as a consequence of beauty. And then there's Cupid. We don't like to talk about him. Now, typically those...
Okay, so this is, let's see, we're 56 seconds in and I'm already completely wrong.
First two representations exist concurrently in the same character. Eros will simultaneously be Aphrodite's son and a powerful and ancient force that even the gods fear. I say typically, but really there's only one data point to draw from. There's one major legend about Eros, and that is the myth of Eros and Psyche. So, Psyche is a princess, but not just any princess, a beautiful princess. Plot twist? But she's not—
I mean, are there really, like, in all seriousness, let me know in the comments, were there any ugly princesses? And I'm talking about like when they started, not like they screwed something up so somebody gave them a mole, which, you know, in Greek times was considered like the evilest of evils. Was there any god that was ugly from the start? Let me know.
Just any beautiful princess. She's a lonely beautiful
Oh my god, so pretty, like a goddess, but we love you from afar.
But she's not just any beautiful princess. She's a lonely beautiful princess. Plot twist? But she's not just any lonely beautiful princess. She's a lonely beautiful princess even more beautiful than Aphrodite. Oh, that ain't good. In fact, since Psyche is so incredibly beautiful, people have started worshipping her instead of Aphrodite. My god, it's just like high school. Now those of us—
Yes, it's just like high school where your son falls in love with a girl more beautiful than your mom?
Those familiar with Aphrodite through the Golden Apple, the Iliad, or just Greek mythology in general, know that she doesn't really handle people being prettier than her very well. But Aphrodite has just the plan to take Psyche down. She'll make her fall in love with a hideous monster. Aphrodite, you are a goddess. Why don't you just kill her? Aphrodite knows just the guy to call and summons her son Eros to make Psyche fall in love with something gross.
Wait, so then... Okay, but I'm guessing Eros is gonna be like, no way, she's too beautiful to make her fall in love with the Minotaur. I'm gonna make her fall in love with me instead.
Eros scoots down to the mortal world to do the thing, but when he sees the beautiful Psyche, he's startled by her gorgeousness and accidentally stabs himself with one of his arrows. Way to go, smart guy. But meanwhile, back in the mortal world,
Look, we guys do not think the clearest, ever, for one, but when love is involved, even worse.
Psyche is, we recall part 2 of her characterization, very, very lonely. See, she's beautiful, but in a way that people worship from afar. She wants to be loved, but she's just too beautiful for this sinful world. And it's really starting to get on her nerves. So she goes to the Oracle and asks her if she'll ever find true love, and the Oracle responds that she will, but she'll fall in love with a terrible monster that even the gods fear. So Psyche is taken to a big scary cliff and left there so her monster boyfriend can find her, and
What? And again, I know that, again, overly sarcastic is a bit overly simplified as well, but, like, why would you just be like, all right, I'm gonna go live the rest of my days out here, and then meanwhile her crowd of adoring fans is just casually following, like, the crowd of adoring fans is right here. Because, see, if I found out that, you know, Psyche was going to fall in love with a hideous monster, I would be like, that is my time to shine. Relative to the wealth of beauty in the world, I am a hideous monster. And then she wouldn't be unapproachable anymore.
big scary cliff and left there so her monster boyfriend can find her, and Zephyr, the west wind, carries her off to her monster boyfriend's gorgeous and luxuriant palace. Man, Greece has way classier monsters than we do. Anyway, turns out her monster boyfriend—
I mean, a lot of our monsters are billionaires, so they do have palaces. Welcome to my house, I have no idea what I'm doing.
and is invisible, and he tells her that she'll be totally safe and provided for by his many invisible servants, but she can never see him, not even when they do the sex thing. So Psyche's totally chill with living in luxury with her invisible monster boyfriend, but one day she's paid a visit by her 2 sisters, who are
I always love the technical difficulties music, and so Psyche is going to be probably treated as Psych-O because she's gonna tell her sister she's doing the hibbity-dibbity with an invisible guy?
One day she's paid a visit by her 2 sisters, who are jealous of her living situation and convince her to find out the identity of her monster boyfriend, and if he really is a monster, to kill him before he kills her and her unborn child.
But you can't just keep PSing this stuff.
That night, Psyche sneaks into her monster boyfriend's room with a lantern to see him and a dagger to maybe murder him with. But as soon as the light touches him, she sees that her invisible monster boyfriend is actually a very visible, super hot boyfriend, none other than Eros himself. Surprised by his gorgeousness, Psyche, say it with me now, accidentally stabs herself with one of Eros's arrows. Damn, that's hard to say. And is now double in love with him.
How? What? But she... Like, at what point in wandering around the room did she pick up an arrow? At what point in wandering around the room did she slip on something and then stab herself? Also, double in love, is that as bad as being 6 times immortal? Asking for a friend. Gotta give me a piece of that. Jeez.
The lamp boy also thinks Eros is super cute and a little bit tries to get closer to Senpai and ends up splashing on him. That's not hyperbole, the book actually says that. Not the senpai part, but you know. So Eros wakes up because ow, and flies off because betrayal, leaving Psyche alone and regretting.
I just love the script of this. He wakes up because ow, and he flies away because betrayal.
Not the senpai part, but you know. So Eros wakes up because ow, and flies off because betrayal, leaving Psyche alone and regretting her life choices. Eros flies back to Aphrodite to nurse.
Why did she? Don't worry, sweetie. Mommy's gonna make her dead very soon. So now Aphrodite's finally gonna do the thing that she could have just done at the beginning of all of this. Maybe Aphrodite doesn't want to murder because murder is ugly. But we know from the Aphrodite episode that her past had much darker sides to it than this.
His minor burn and feels sorry for himself, and Aphrodite, now like twice as mad at Psyche, scoots over to her and tells her that if she wants her boyfriend back, she needs to accomplish 4 tasks for her.
Eep. What?
So Psyche agrees.
What? What to this right here, the punch, and then
Tasks for
what
her.
to this? What is going on here?
So Psyche agrees, and after Aphrodite slaps her around for a minute to make herself feel better, she gives Psyche her first task. She throws a mixed assortment of grains on the ground and tells Psyche she has 1 day to sort them all by type. This is obviously some BS, but Psyche is basically an archetypal Disney princess, so while she's sitting there pondering the BS-itude of her current situation, a nearby nest of ants take pity on her and sort the grains for her. So obviously Aphrodite's pissed that Psyche managed to do the thing. So
But she didn't do the thing. The ants did the thing. Just because the thing got done doesn't mean she did the thing.
she makes the next task even more problematic and tells her to go get some golden fleece from the sun sheep that live across the river. While Psyche's busily trying to drown herself, a local spirit tells her that the
What? The most blasé attempt at that ever.
trying to drown herself, a local spirit tells her that the sheep
Hey, if you're not busy, I have a couple
Will
suggestions.
kill her if she's not careful. So rather than try and rip a chunk of their fleece off, she should just gather fleece that got caught on the nearby thorn bushes. So she does, and Aphrodite gets even more pissed. So she tells Psyche to take this goblet and go get some water from the river Styx, which is a problem because there's a cliff face and several dragons in the way. But this time, Zeus himself helps her out and sends down an eagle to beat up the dragons and bring her the water.
Oh, come on! This Deus Ex Machina guard, by the way, gods aren't allowed to help her directly, even though they all agree Aphrodite's being a total, well, that's fair. But then why didn't Aphrodite... Look. Are they all in agreement that Aphrodite is being a douche canoe, or are they in agreement that Psyche is totally hot? Because all of the gods have a tendency to think, you know, with their and not with their brains. So I feel like there may be more at play here.
So last but not least, Aphrodite gives up on the subtlety and
Turning the hand of my son, the one I'm already married to. By the way, they're married.
literally orders Psyche to go to hell, specifically to bring a fancy box to the underworld, take a little bit of Persephone's beauty, and put it in the box, and then bring it back and give it to Aphrodite. By the way, at this point, Eros is all better and has long since forgiven Psyche for the whole
Stop torturing my girlfriend. Poor Eros.
betrayal of trust thing. But Aphrodite is having none of that and keeps him confined to her palace while she tries to do the vengeance thing. So again, with help from various household objects and noted landmarks, Psyche makes her way to the underworld and gives the box to Persephone, who does something to it and then gives it back. So Psyche leaves the underworld with the box, but then it occurs to her that
Does something to it. Do we know what is done to it? Is that one of those for monetization reasons we're not describing what was done to the box? Let me know. Let me know below if you are an expert.
if the box has pure beauty in it and she's about to go see her boyfriend again, she might as well use the magic beauty box to freshen up a little.
Oh, God.
Unfortunately, as soon
Pandora's
as she
box!
opens the box, it turns out the only thing in it was murder. So Psyche low-key dies, but Eros escapes Aphrodite's palace while his mom is distracted and flies to Psyche, casually fixes the whole dead thing, and flies up to Olympus with
Zeus, if you make this work, Aphrodite's gonna be a grandmother. Oh, that is fair. Because people who are obsessed with physical beauty, yes, having to confront their own aging is like the worst fate ever for them. Also, jealous of Eros' wings. Reminds me of an old MMO called Ion.
and flies to Psyche, casually fixes the whole dead thing, and flies up to Olympus with Psyche to be properly married. Zeus is cool with it, tells Aphrodite to back off, and gives Psyche some ambrosia, which makes her into an immortal goddess. She and Eros are married as equals, and when their kid is eventually born, they name her Hedone, which
I'm symbolic of the union of soul and love! Yay!
roughly translates to joy.
By the way, Psyche represents the human soul. That's kind of what I thought. I mean, psychology is the inner innards. I get the inner innards. Yes, indeed. And this was a Valentine's Day thing.
I looked up when you came through the door. My head started reeling. You gave me the feeling, the room.
Metaphor for the union of love and the human soul and how it gives birth to happiness. That is honestly surprisingly deep, I feel, for a lot of what the Greeks have been going with, at least in these early days, you know? Like, these concepts just feel a little beyond what they normally were talking
Had no
about.
ceiling or floor. 10 minutes ago, I met.
Cupid is actually seen as I can't say that word because it means something bad in Spanish, which are those fat little baby angels in Renaissance art. They're sometimes called cherubs. This is inaccurate, as cherubs are terrifying four-faced monsters with wings. Oh my God, that reminds me. Have you guys seen, I think this was going viral on TikTok not that long ago. There's a video going around of biblically accurate depictions of angels. Nightmare fuel. Holy crap, that is awful, by the way. Dude, I watched it right before bed. Horrible idea.
I wanted to ring out the bells and
Psyche's sisters fell off a cliff because they try to get Zephyr to fly them to Eros' palace, but he's all like, nah, and lets them drop off the cliff without catching them.
fling out my arms
Kind of a dick move, right?
I have found her, she's an angel.
There's a Balkan folklore called the crab that's very similar to Eros and Psyche, except Eros is a were-crab. So basically Twilight.
With the dust of the stars in her eyes.
By the way, Red singing beautiful, and I'm talking over it. I know, it pisses people off
We are
sometimes.
dancing, we are flying, and she's taking me back to the skies. In the arms of my love, I'm flying over.
Actually, the girl marries a monster animal demon that turns out to be a hot guy story is bizarrely recurrent. Because I feel like a lot of these stories were almost trying to overcome evolution in a very weird thing, like, meaning like we evolved that if something is scary, run away from it. But then in all of these lore stories, we learn that, oh, scary thing, not actually scary.
Mountain and meadow and glen, and I like it so well that for all I can tell, I may never come down
probably in
again.
contrast. Well, so Psyche could be a butterfly because of the whole human death, beauty incarnate kind of a vibe. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like a cocoon type
I
thing.
may never come down to earth again.
I'm jealous. I want to learn how to play the lute at some point. So, okay, of course, we get to the candle part. I told you at the beginning of this video, I knew by the end of it that I wasn't actually gonna know anything about anything. And it turns out, yeah, I was wrong about Eros. He is not, in fact, the chubby little cherub. He was a hot guy who lived at home for some reason. And that Psyche did represent soul, but there was way more to Psyche than I had expected going in. What are some of the other cool things that I need to cover? You guys have mentioned trope talks before, some of the history, summarized kinds of things. I'm also working on some original stuff for the channel as well. It's a little tough when I'm putting out new videos like every day, every other day at the latest. And so yeah, if you like what you see, please make sure to subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton. Thanks for checking this video out. Take care, and I will see you for the next legend.